Isagi Yoichi. When he was young, Isagi felt as if he was different, better, and just video game-like. People would watch as Isagi would destroy, would walk all over every single person that was trying to play soccer against him. Yeah, it was simple, it was easy, and it was quick. Isagi would destroy everyone. Many around him would believe that, well, he was just better than them. But at the same time, it felt like he was straight out of a video game. He was just that much better than everyone else, at least in his community. I mean, there might be better, bigger, stronger people out there. He has no idea, but there's a secret that Isagi has been hiding. He has something that he doesn't understand quite yet, but at the same time, he believes that it's literally video game-like. He realizes that he can level up better, faster, and differently than anyone else. He feels that every goal he makes, it might give him a tiny bit, but it gives him experience. At a young age, he would find that he has some sort of HUD menu in front of him. He can mentally turn it off and on, and it seems like their stats. We're talking strength, speed, accuracy, anything you can think of, power, all of this stuff, intelligence, and even luck. Something that definitely confuses him, because how do you even manipulate luck? I mean, how does that even work? That's not something he thinks about, at least that much, when he's younger, but especially when he's older and definitely grows in age, it's something he thinks about. I mean, kids wonder how he gets so strong, how he's so fast, especially when he barely even works out. He doesn't even work out that much. He does every so often, because he definitely can see the betterment of himself when he does work out, especially in terms of his stats. He gets experience every time he works out, every push-up, every sit-up, and every single pull-up. So he does work out from time to time, but goals is where it's at. Making goals in his high school, and just so on and so forth. Even assists, to an extent, gives some experience, and he would upgrade himself in terms of just the ability of power, just intelligence, even sometimes luck, but he doesn't, again, understand that even at an older age, being that he is growing up and getting into these more higher level, more or less higher level tournaments. But these tournaments don't mean that much to Isagi. It might sound a little egotistical, but Isagi feels like he's been so much better than everyone else that is it really even a challenge anymore? Well, that's just it. It's really not that big of a challenge anymore. Isagi continues to level himself up. Stats begin to grow, power, speed, strength, passing, intelligence, so on and so forth. He does get limited XP as he levels up. I mean, we're talking about experience points here. The more you level up, well, the harder it is to level up to the next level. But stat-wise, he feels pretty strong. And in terms of just physical abilities, he's running around the place like a maniac. He's able to just dribble in and out of places like nothing. And on top of that, he can see the field in an interesting way. It's as if he can sense when things are happening, sense when there's a goal ahead. But he doesn't really think much about it. He thinks that, well, he's just so much better and so much stronger and so much, well, greater than everyone else that he can basically tell that he's always going to score. At least that's what he thinks initially. And it does put a giant, not only chip on his shoulder, but an ego like crazy around Isagi. But then we lead to one of his tournament finals. His team is up by about 2 points, maybe soon to be 3. The striker Yoichi Isagi is just running forward, juking, dodging, and just nutmegging everybody you could think of. It's super easy for him, sidestepping people, and he does pass here and there, but he only passes when it's necessary. His coach would be yelling at him, telling him that it's truly a team game, and that Isagi needs to pass it, that he needs to do this, but Isagi doesn't even listen. I mean, he looks toward his coach in kind of like a weird stare, kind of in disgust. He looks at him as if he doesn't know that Isagi's the one that got them here. Yeah, Isagi's taking this shot. Up 2-0, he fakes the pass to his teammate and shoots a shot that you wouldn't even believe. A shot that, frankly, nobody in their right mind would take. It's not even like it's open. He has multiple people in front of him, and he drills it in the top right, pins it as if it was just a dart that he was throwing at a dartboard, and it's just beautiful. Poetry in motion. And of course, they would finish up the game. It would be over, and everybody would be celebrating, but Isagi felt as if the job's not done. I mean, yeah, he did this, but frankly, it was easy, simple. He wants a challenge. I mean, hopefully and eventually, Nationals would give him that challenge. But another challenge would be on the horizon. Another serious challenge. Isagi would more or less just head out, and he would be stopped by Kira, and Kira would talk about how amazing he is and how it sucks that they beat them so badly. He wishes it was a closer game. Isagi looks at Kira and says that if he had a more killer mentality and more ego to him, maybe, just maybe, he could have still been in that game. But maybe Striker isn't for him. Isagi would just leave, and Kira would be confused but frustrated at the same time. Why is he talking to him like that? He knows that Kira is good. He knows that Kira is really good still, even if it's not more or less the same level as Isagi. Isagi still just blows him off. I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't need to worry about him. He takes the points that he gets from the goals he had today and continues to increase his stats, and eventually would increase some more into his, well, luck. He would think that maybe everybody needs some luck here and there, so he decides to do just that. He would take his bike and ride home, and when he would arrive, he would see a letter. His parents basically gives him a letter, and it's something about Blue Lock. He's not so sure what this is, but it seems interesting. Very interesting. Seems like some sort of training, maybe something that would prove that he's the best. Now this is something he wants to check out. And check out is exactly what he does. Actually, when he arrives, Kira would bump into him, and he would kind of ignore Kira as he continues to ramble on about how, more or less, it's a team game and this and that, but Isagi doesn't listen much. Eventually, when they enter the hall, Isagi sees tons of other people. Tons. Well, he looks around, and they all seem like strikers. Interesting. But just as he thinks about this, and just as he puts this in his mind, a man shows up. Jinpachi Ego. He begins speaking to everybody. Perfect. You guys are all here. Now, I won't take very long when I'm speaking to all of you. You may be wondering what this is. Simple enough. Welcome to Blue Lock. We're going to be creating the strongest, the best, the fastest, and the most complete striker ever. Blue Lock, a new program that it seems Japan is implementing. Now this is something Isagi is interested in. Immediately he would speak out loud before anybody else could even grasp what he's talking about, and he asks if it's all a competition, that they're honing, they're trying to find the best striker. Now how are they going to do that? What are the stakes? Ego would smile, but he would slowly kind of put that away, believing that maybe Isagi is someone perfect for this position, but he'll have to see. He'll have to test him. He'll have to truly know if he can be a perfect striker, the best striker, a striker full of ego. And, well, he begins to explain that all the best players, truly all the best players, all the best strikers are egotistical, are, well, egotists. And of course, he explains this and tells them all that whoever, well, makes it out of Blue Lock will be deemed the best striker in Japan and will take Japan to the next level. Japan's national football team will truly be the winners of everything and everything forever. Ego says this, and everyone's confused. What happens to the rest of them if they lose? Can they just go back to trying more? But Ego says that the other 299, well, their careers are over. I mean, if you're not perfect, then you're a loser. Jinpachi Ego says if they are that terrified and whoever's scared can lock off, leave now, or they could proceed through here and truly become the best. Ego steps aside, and the first person that walks through is Yoichi Isagi. Isagi, with a smirk on his face, looks at Ego and points at him and says that he likes the way he thinks. Ego himself smiles, thinking that this kid, if he's not playing a role, if he's not playing this hoax, this idea that, oh, he is that cocky and he is that good, well, let's just say we may have a monster on our hands. Yoichi Isagi would walk in first, and all the other strikers would fall in place. When they would arrive, they would all get ready, get on their suits or their shirts and so on and so forth, and Isagi will look at his number. Interesting. Very interesting. He would see that he's actually a pretty, well, high number. I mean, 299. It might sound insane, and Isagi thinks it's insane, but this boiling of fire just begins to just erupt within him. He begins to think, there are 298 other people better than me? He smiles as they're getting ready, and as they're all set and ready to go in this giant room. It seems like they're all together as if they're all some sort of team, but even Isagi knows this not to be true. Isagi would think, if there's that many more people better than me, well, I can't wait to see it. He wants to see the best. He wants to beat the best and prove he's that much greater. As he's thinking this, something comes up on his screen, his HUD menu, and it says, new quest line unlocked, Blue Lock. And of course, there's different pathways that he can go down. He sees all of them and sees that there's just question marks riddled all over his screen. What's the first test? He's excited, ready to go, and he would figure out that the first test would be tag. And he would hear this before he would even see it on his screen. The leader or the creator of Blue Lock, the director, Jinpachi Ego, would say they're gonna do something that he's known as tag. Tag with a soccer ball. There's really no rules. All that there is you can't do handballs. That's it. Other than that, whoever gets hit last with the soccer ball, well, needs to lock off and will never, ever be a striker for Japan's team. Of course, Isagi smirks at this. Now this sounds like fun. How long do they have? He looks up to see a timer of 5 minutes. He grabs the ball and begins to more or less just move it around. Everybody is weirded out. Like, what is this guy doing? What is he even doing? Isagi says that they have 5 minutes. There's really no reason for him to rush. He just begins to tap the ball up and down, and he's basically just juggling it over and over again. Everyone is confused. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Isagi says there's really nothing wrong with him, but he just knows 5 minutes is way too long. Way too long. He wants to have fun. Anybody want to have fun? He kicks the ball at an orange-haired guy by the name of Kunigami, and Kunigami dodges it. It goes back to Isagi, and he taps it back up. You're lame. Why not kick it back? As he says this, someone would yawn in the distance, and for some reason, Isagi can feel something. Someone. No. A creature? No. What is that? It's as if it's screaming at him. Pass the ball. Pass the ball. He turns and kicks it straight at the direction of this whatever creature or monster is speaking, and the person to receive it is Bachira. Bachira receives the ball and kicks it back to Isagi, and Isagi smirks. Finally someone to play with. He continues to just bury the ball back toward Bachira, but he limits himself. He doesn't want to blow the guy's head off. I mean, he doesn't think he could do that, but he doesn't want to like hit him in the head, give him a concussion for no reason. It's the only person that wanted to have fun. He continues to kick him back and forth to Bachira, and Bachira in his own head begins to think that Isagi might be the monster he's been looking for. Of course, they continue blasting the ball back and forth, the time slowly but surely trickling down. Bachira smiles as the last kick comes from Isagi, and, well, there's only 5 seconds left. Bachira would then wind up a kick, but instead of kicking at Isagi like Isagi was expecting, the ball would go soaring at the face of Kira. He would get pegged right in the face with the ball, and Kira would be shocked. What are they doing? What just... The time would sound, and Kira would begin to freak out. Ego says that they got too complacent. They thought Isagi and Bachira were having fun, but Isagi told them exactly what he was doing before he even started doing it. Isagi knew there was 5 minutes. What's the point? What's the point of trying to hit other people when there's 5 minutes on the clock? Just wait for the time to tick down and just make your shot count. Of course, Kira tries to argue that this has nothing to do with soccer at all, nothing to do with football at all. But it does. It really does. You need to be aware of your surroundings at all times, and the accuracy you need to hit somebody the way Isagi and Bachira were hitting each other, well, that's something that a skilled striker would be able to do. I mean, on top of that, well, you gotta dodge a little bit. Movement, quick movements, reaction time. All of it is important, very important. Of course, I mean, Isagi and Bachira would understand this. Bachira a little bit less. I mean, Bachira is a little bit up in his own head sometimes. But still, I mean, he is Bachira. But, well, Kira is out. Gone. And now, he needs to lock off. Of course, Kira would be mad, be pissed, be screaming, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, he would walk out. And Isagi would wave to him with a smile on his face as Bachira does the same. Bachira would point toward Isagi and walk over there and would commend him, saying that he is the monster he's been looking for. Isagi is confused. Monster? I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I've never been called a monster before. I'll take it. Nice to meet you. Isagi would honestly be a lot friendlier with Bachira. It's kind of odd. Maybe freaks enjoy the company of freaks? Well, I guess we won't know, at least not for sure. It's not like Isagi would admit that he's a freak. So, still though, Isagi would be happy to see that there's some enjoyable competition, especially with someone like as insane as Bachira. Ego would then explain everything that's going on left. Ego explains that there's 11 players remaining, and they will form Team Z. They'll live together, they will basically train together, they will do everything together. And at times, well, they'll betray each other. And that will definitely happen. Afterwards, everyone around begins to just train. They don't worry about what happened to Kira. They work hard, they train, and they get ready. Isagi, with the motivation of just Blue Lock itself, he begins to train harder than he ever has before. He tops out in almost everything. You think that, well, this person is good at jumping? No, Isagi's better. Oh, is this person strong? Isagi's stronger. Well, that's just flat out. And the more he does, the more points he gets to upgrade his power, upgrade his strength, upgrade his speed. But there is someone that catches Isagi's eye just a little bit. He can feel when somebody is, I don't know, fast, when they're strong. He sees it in Kunigami. He can tell that he's elite when set up properly. He can tell that if he sets up this person right here, he'll strike goals from far out, from mid-range, stuff that you really would never see before. He wonders how big of a monster he truly is. But then he looks at someone else. Flowing red hair, he actually thinks it's a female initially, but it's not. He looks at them. Interesting. He walks over and begins to talk to them just a little bit, but he can tell that the personality they hold, not for him. He speaks with Kunigami, asking some questions, and Kunigami is not too happy with him, especially because he tried to kick the ball at him. But Isagi says they're teaming up for a reason. I mean, definitely for a reason. They must have a match. As he says this, well, they would get the information that they would be taking on, well, Team X. As Isagi would tell him, just as he thought. I mean, if he wants some, well, easy goals, he might want to speak to him a little bit. And Kunigami is confused. Easy goals? I mean, why would you even want to try to set him or me up or him up? And Isagi says that he likes Kunigami. Strong, powerful, a sharpshooter in a way. Is that right? And Kunigami is confused. This kid, this guy, I mean, he was so egotistical like not too long ago. Why is he acting this way now? It's as if Isagi is, well, I wouldn't go as far as saying infatuated, but excited, ecstatic about the idea of being around people this good. He might be better than them. I mean, he probably is better than them. But the idea of it, it's beautiful. It's something he's never thought of. Elite strikers making one team? I mean, they could do insane things. He tells them all that they should come up with a bit of a strategy. I mean, he assumes that the way this all works is it's all a grading system. It's all based on wins and how many people scores goals and so on and so forth. And he tells them that they're all going to have to work as a team. Yes, he understands that that's kind of hard sometimes, especially that everyone is a striker. But if they all work together just a little bit, they should be able to get out just fine. Isagi tries to convince them all, and let's just say, many of them would be pretty convinced. I mean, that'd be for a reason. Isagi is very intelligent, and on top of that, his stat leveling system even has something that allows them, well, to be convinced. He convinces them to fall in line with certain roles, but he tells them that rotations will be amazing, that they'll be able to set people up and so on and so forth, and he tells them that he'll be in the center of all of it. This is something that they're not okay with, but he tells them that he'll get his piece, he'll get his goals, but he'll make sure everybody else gets theirs. They're confused, like, I mean, how can they trust him? How do they know for sure? Bachira, obviously, of all people, would walk up and say that he trusts Isagi. He feels that the monster, whatever monster that Isagi has, is calling for a challenge, is wanting to see what everyone else can do. He's 10 steps ahead. Bachira would smile, but he wouldn't reveal all of these things he's come up with to the group. I mean, why would he? He believes that Isagi is the only one that he's been looking for, truly been looking for. Isagi would convince them though. He would tell them that he won't score a single goal until someone else does. How about that? They argue that it should be 2 goals. So at least 2 goals need to be scored by someone on their team. Doesn't matter if it's the same person or a different person, then he could score. If he's going to be the center of every single plan, that needs to be how it is. Isagi shrugs and says that that's fine with him. But he does say, if the goal is wide open, he won't be taking the shot. This is something they chose. This is something they'll stand by. Of course, everyone's shocked by this. What do you mean you won't just take the shot if you're wide open? He says that, well, this is the way they wanted it, and this is the way they'll get it. But still, they should be fine anyways. Just as he says this, it's finally time for lights out, because it's finally time for them to get their strategy in order and time for the first match. Before the first match though, Iga would explain that in addition to the 2 winning teams moving on, the leading scorers from the eliminated teams will also advance. But before Iga would even finish these ideas, Isagi would say that it doesn't even matter, because they're not going to lose a match. Everyone is shocked by how confident, no, egotistical Isagi is. But should you be shocked by this? I mean, they'll soon learn that this is exactly the type of person Isagi is. The match would begin, and everybody seems to fall in line. Isagi would start off pretty quickly, passing it over to Bachira, as Bachira would more or less just cut through the defense with some insane dribble moves. And, well, immediately Isagi would smirk. Yeah, this is cool. Isagi would cut past the defense as if he's seeing pathways that nobody else is seeing. But he would sense somebody. Someone with a villainous aura. No, an aura of an egotist. What is that? He looks to the side and he can see the flare of someone coming across. Who is that? He would smile. Baro. He would realize that this person, he might not know the name, but Baro is drawing Isagi's attention. But no matter. Isagi would get the ball back, and as Baro would cut him off as a blaze of glory, well, Isagi would nutmeg him. Boom. Flying right past him faster than you could possibly imagine. Baro in complete shock. He looks back toward Baro and winks at him as he passes it without even looking to the right side, as Kunigami takes a shot so hard that just the goalie can't even react. But the shot was from relative close range. It wasn't insanely crazy distance, and Isagi, while running back, would ask what Kunigami's range is. Kunigami would kind of just hint at it, and of course Isagi would understand, as he continues to see his experience points level up with every goal or assist of a goal. He sees that the experience is far more potent, as if these are more important goals. Well, I mean, they are, right? I mean, it's something to lose and something to gain. So I guess there's a reason for it. Isagi would back up and he would get ready for basically to get on defense. And of course, the one and only Baro, King Baro, would come forward charging at them as if he's just ready to take on their whole team. He would barely even pass. He would get by some of the defense, but Isagi would slowly close the distance, as if he's in blind spot after blind spot. The king. He would profess that he's the king. Baro is the king. He would say that these peasants can't guard him. And it seemed to be true. Every piece of defense would be cut through, but eventually, when he would take his shot, a foot would come out of nowhere, and the ball would pop up, landing right in front of Bachira. Isagi would smirk. The king? Well, I'm the king slayer. Isagi would tell him this as he dashes past. They know that they can set up an easy goal, and he needs to let one more person score. And in the eyes of Bachira, he can tell Bachira will score this one. He gets the pass back from Bachira, and he would immediately juke out a couple other the players from Team X. And as he would lob the pass up, everybody's confused. Where the hell is that going? I mean, that's not even open. He's passing to the open space. He trusts that the monster within Bachira sees it. One kick, boom, and it's through the net. Bachira scores, and they're up 2-0. The King Baro is freaking out, at least internally. Confused. What's even going on? What's even happening? Everybody else is in shock, especially on Isagi's team. Isagi promised that they would win, but how is he making the field look this easy? Look at who's on the other team. They know who Baro is. Baro is supposed to be this insanely good striker. Why is he making him look like a joke? Like the jester? Of course, Isagi would shake off any ideas of anything, because 2-0, that means he can score, and that is what he wants. Immediately, Baro would try and use other people to gain distance, more or less using his teammates to try to draw in certain things and try to bait the certain things out. But every cut, every move he would make, every ball he would take from his teammate, who was there? Isagi. It's as if he is this dark reaper that follows him, as if he continues to cut off the king. Isagi would continue to mock him. The king, huh? The king. Come on, king. You got it. You can do it, king. Isagi would continue to bully Baro. Baro's size, though, would definitely make a difference. Isagi may be strong, but in stature, he's still small. So one nudge, and a hard nudge at that, he would flatten. But Isagi would roll back up, and Baro would be shocked. Baro would get stripped by Isagi, and he would take off. He would pass to Bachira, and Bachira would kick it straight into the sky practically. And everyone's confused. They're in a whole league of their own. What is happening? Out of nowhere, it's as if the ball just lands in Isagi's lap. Above everyone else, he would catch the ball, gather it with his chest. But as he does this and the ball rolls to his foot, he would kick it back up. Everyone would be confused. What the hell is that? He would land back on the ground and spring himself back up as he does a front flip and kicks the ball with the back of his heel, and it goes soaring, curving into the net right around the goalkeeper. 3-0. What the hell was that? Isagi scores again and again after that. Baro unable to do a single thing. He doesn't even know what to say. What is going on? But toward the end of the game, Isagi would feel bad. I mean, Baro would run through, and he would let Baro run through. He would kick the ball, and Baro would score relatively easily because Isagi isn't trying. Baro would be confused, and he would yell toward Isagi. He doesn't know who he is, but don't let him score like that. Don't let him. He's acting like I'm a peasant. Acting like I'm a peasant. Of course, Isagi would look at him, and he would see a fiery aura. Now that is interesting. Isagi would get the ball, and he would look toward Bachira and wave his finger. At this point, they're up 5-1. So, with little time left, Isagi just kicks the ball to Baro. Come on, king. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Mocking Baro over and over. Bachira is confused for a second, and even, Kunigami especially is confused. Many others, Chiguri, confused. Everyone confused. What the hell is he doing? Why did he do that? Baro would stop staring at Isagi. What do you think this is? You damn donkey. He would go charging forward, and Isagi would barely be able to keep up. Well, of course, he wasn't really trying very hard. He's standing straight up and not even prepared. But he would see something. He just awakened the villain king. Yeah, that's nice. Isagi would watch as he blazes by, scoring one more goal, putting them, only down by 3 goals. Isagi would get the ball back, run out the clock, and the game would be over. Isagi's team, or Team Z, up 5-2, with 3 goals to Isagi, 1 to Kunigami, and 1 to Bachira. Everyone would be celebrating, or Team Z would be, excited that they just won. They won their first match, but Isagi is not celebrating. He walks over toward Baro, and he says that he's strong, that he's better. He's fast, powerful, but there's something within him that he needs to reawaken and keep awakened. He needs to starve himself so that when he sees the ball, the hungry predator comes out. Isagi would walk away, and Baro would stand there. What kind of freak is he? Isagi would celebrate with his team, at least mildly, all heading back to their giant room and their place they've been staying, and they celebrate with food and so on. That's it. That's all Isagi wanted to say to Baro. That's all he wanted to say. There is communication with Ego. Once again, Ego explains the nature of a striker and the idea that they need a certain, well, you could call it an algorithm. You can call it a success point. You can call it a formula to scoring. He does tell everybody that it seems like Isagi has already figured this out, more than they would possibly understand, but that's beyond the point. He would say that Isagi is interesting, and maybe they should let him take points, because he is the strongest and best in their group. They would look to see that all their numbers have updated, and it's true. Isagi is higher than everyone else. But is that really that far-fetched? Definitely not. They have more matches to come. Far, far more matches to come. Baro is not the only monster Isagi will truly see in the near future. And with the quests of, well, the tag and also match 1 being a victory, Isagi would get more experience points, more points to put in more stats, upgrading luck, intelligence, charisma, anything you could think of, strength, and all of the stats would continue to increase as Isagi seems to get further in distance from everyone else around him. But that is the end of part 1 of What If Isagi Had a Stat Leveling System. And if you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. This is my first Blue Lock What If, so we're here for it, or at least I'm here for it, so I hope you're here for it. I'll be finishing this up probably in 3, maybe 4 parts, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Enjoy it, because this is different, very different than what I normally do. So I hope y'all enjoy it, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.